Welcome to the Michiana Hivecast, where wellness meets community and conscious living takes flight. I'm your host, Jamila Blue, and I am so glad you're here. This is your space to expand, evolve, and grow together. Each episode, we celebrate the heart of Michiana through real conversations with local practitioners, healers, creatives, and community builders who are lighting the way towards connection, balance, and transformation. Whether you're just beginning your journey or deep in your practice, you'll find inspiration, insight, and a sense of belonging right here in the Hive. At Conscious Michiana, we are all about uniting people, sharing resources, and co creating a thriving, holistic community. So let's get buzzing, and thank you for being a part of this conscious collective. The Michiana Hivecast, buzzing with wellness, connection, and conscious living in Michiana. Expand, evolve, grow.
Today I'm joined by Desiree Denae, founder of the Sugar Studio in Granger, Indiana. With more than 15 years of experience in skin, hair, and nail care, Desiree has created a private, one-on-one self-care studio that goes beyond the traditional beauty services. Her work is rooted in a holistic approach, blending natural techniques with intentional care to support not just healthy skin, but overall well-being. Through services like sugaring and her lymphatic reset ritual, she helps clients reconnect with their bodies, regulate their nervous systems, and feel more at home in themselves. Desiree's work is inclusive, welcoming both men and women into a space where self-care is personalized, supportive, and deeply human. Beyond the treatment room, she explores creativity and reflection through her writing, recently releasing her own poetry book. Welcome, Desiree. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you. And thank you for that beautiful introduction.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, you've had the Sugar Studio for a little while now, and this is more than a traditional skincare space. What inspired you to create the Sugar Studio, centered around intentional one on one self care and holistic skin health?
My inspiration for most things is see a need, fill a need. And I've been working with skin for many years. And I can see the climate that we're in. It's fast paced, it's kind of stressful, and it's really hard to be centered in this time. So that does play a part in our skin, but we just need to rest. For myself, I need a space to breathe and just be, and I wanted to create that for others.
Mm-hmm. Love that. So, your work really blends practical expertise with your own personal experiences with skin challenges. How did your journey with hair growth and cystic acne shape the philosophy behind the care that you offer today?
It was shaped by trying everything that did not work and realizing that it really needed to be simplified and intentional. When my skin was at its worst, I was in a very toxic state, and I mean that in all of the capacities possible. Actually, when I looked back, I was, you know, doing a lot of things wrong, and it's all centered back to lifestyle and not so much what is sold to us or told to us. Going to the doctors, looking online, I was told about products, 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 and not much else. And so that's what I focused on in the beginning. And I learned the long and hard way that there's so much more to it. And so that's how I operate.
Mm-hmm. Many people think of skincare as purely cosmetic, but your approach seems to address the whole person. How do you view the connection between skin health, stress, and overall well being?
Skincare, stress, and overall well being. Yes, the connection. So when we are stressed, our self care can easily take a back seat. So that is one thing. And it will show physically, whether it's a breakout, dryness, dullness, um, wellness, the cortisol, the stress and the cortisol and the wellness. I really started working out almost more for my skin than anything because my cortisol was so high that I needed to get it out. And exercising really made a huge difference with that, as well as sleep. Um, the stress is always going to be there. And when I practice things such as breathing, exercise, managing my sleep, yoga, those type of things helped my skin. So it goes hand in hand. When we are healthy, our skin is healthier.
I love that. And what a beautiful journey that had to have been for you. It probably didn't feel like it going through it. However, looking back, I expect that you're like, wow, I did that. And look at here. Look at where I am now as a result.
Yes, when I look back, I just think of all the mistakes that I made, and then I think of why. And I realize I was way too close to it, literally. When it is ourselves, it can be very difficult. Even after studying skin for so many years, when mine started acting up, it was like all that information was gone, and I went into panic, and I just wanted the doctors to fix it. And when that didn't work, I had to really take a look within, and I was toxins were releasing.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. Sugaring is one of your core services. What drew you to this method, and why do you feel it aligns so well with natural and holistic approaches that you take and bring to your work?
Well, I was drawn to it in beauty school. I had already done waxing, loved waxing, discovered sugaring, and got my first Brazilian. And I was so happy with the results. I went back to school and I was telling everybody about it. And I was like, I'm going to be doing that. Um, and when I discovered that the sugar was so much more beneficial for your skin, natural, I couldn't really do anything else. Like, I couldn't unknow that there are resins and chemicals in wax. I can wax, I could easily wax, and people ask me, like, why don't I? Because it's more popular and people have heard of it. Um, Less people have heard of sugaring. So if I were to wax, I would get more clients, but I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Hmm.
I discovered the best the best route, and I just didn't want to look back. I do know that it's quicker and it can be cheaper. You can make more money faster, but it just doesn't align with how I operate. And so it just made sense to do it. And I love the technique. I love that it's newer from another country and kind of feel like you're in this secret club. That kind of makes me happy too.
Oh,
Love
that's
being
great.
exclusive.
Indeed. Exclusivity is a beautiful thing, for sure. So the Sugar Studio welcomes in both men and women, which is something that we're seeing more of in the wellness space. What types of treatments are men most often seeking, and how do you help make self-care approachable for everyone?
Well, I think I provide like a safe space with my energy to welcome people who are new to self care, new to skincare, curious about facials. So I do get a lot of people coming to me who have never had a facial and are curious. And so I those are like my favorite clients because I love to educate and show the way and provide an experience that's new. And especially for men, I'm like an advocate for all self-care, but men's self-care seems to be a little bit of just gets less attention, and men feel like you have to be in a certain category to get facials or sugaring. And I have some really manly men on my table. And it's really just about taking care of yourself. And that goes for all genders.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would like to talk about one of your signature services, your lymphatic reset ritual. What first sparked your interest in lymphatic work, and why is the lymphatic system so important for skin health as well as our overall wellness?
I discovered lymphatic drainage when I was having my own health issues, and I just went down a hole and did a lot of research. And it's so important. And a lot of people are not familiar with how to do it on themselves, or they think it's this great thing that it's really simple. Um, but the lymph has to move. And without the lymph moving, it builds up toxins. It is a reason why I was so puffy. A lot of us are not like fat, we're inflamed. So when you release the toxins, it removes a lot of the inflammation in our bodies. And it just helps things to be regular all throughout. It helps our skin and so many different areas of our health. And I noticed such a difference like immediately that I just became obsessed. And there's so many different ways to do it: breathing, moving, water, vibrations, tapping. I just love it. Mhm.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you bring in those other modalities as well, because all of those are very important things. So one doesn't have to have a lymphatic massage to be able to move the things.
Yes.
However, having that space to do your massage just helps isolate it and just really adds that focus to it. It sounds fantastic.
Yes, and just relaxing and being touched, and the face and the scalp and the neck area, especially the jaw, that's an area that holds so much stress and tension and
Hmm.
tightness that it's a really beneficial service.
Hmm. Which leads me into my next question. Let's talk about the scalp oiling. Now, that's part of the lymphatic ritual.
Yes.
And so, how does that role of touch and slowing down and caring for the scalp play for helping people to relax as well as reset their nervous systems?
Yes. So the scalp is like, I believe in like the head to toe situation, right? So our feet are so important, our scalps are so important, everything in the middle is so important, but we do hold so much tension in that area. It promotes circulation when you have a scalp massage, which improves hair growth, hair thickness. Having that tension can stop growth or reduce growth, and releasing that tension in the fascia, just that little bit, creating that space and that air just makes such a world of difference. But it's everyone's favorite part.
Mhm.
I added the scalp oiling and massage when I created this service from my certification in Japanese head spa,
Hmm.
which I started at another location and don't do here, but it's a lot of the tools and the mechanisms within that I learned in that training, along with lymphatic drainage massage. So it's just so relaxing and has health benefits as well. So,
Hmm. So, do you feel like most people that are coming in for the lymphatic ritual, are they looking for relaxation? What are people truly seeking? When do you think that when they come in for something like this?
for the lymphatic facial, that a lot of my clients who seek that have tight jaw, TMJ, or migraines, even thinness of hair, and they want that extra treatment. And then sometimes it's just their time to be and relax.
Mm-hmm. That sounds quite lovely. Mm. Your work clearly involves helping people reconnect with themselves through care as well as being present. I understand that creativity is another way that you explore that connection, especially through writing. So I want to ask you some questions around that. Recently, you released a poetry book. What inspired you to begin sharing this part of your voice?
Sharing. Well, when I was writing the book, I did not know that it was going to be a book. I needed an outlet for everything that I was going through. It was a strange time, and I was in it, and I was in that period of time in real time realizing like this is a lot. Like I wasn't even looking back and saying this is a lot. I was in it and like, is this real? Am I going through this on top of this, followed by this? Like this is crazy, is how I felt at the time because it was so much. And I had to get that out. And I've been writing for a really long time, but this felt different. It felt like I was doing something that I didn't know what I was doing. And once it was a 4-year period of trauma. And when I got to the end of it, um, that's when I felt like it was a book. And I did not personally, because I'm a poet and I'm comfortable writing my work and going to a open mic and sharing it with usually poetry jams or an intimate small group of people. And people don't usually record unless, they have permission. And so that's more was my comfort zone because I could share with, people who enjoyed poetry. And I felt like publishing was a little drastic for what was in those poems. But I also knew that the things that I went through, so many people go through.
Mm-hmm.
And most people go through it alone and they feel very alone. And it's a hard place to come out of. So I really felt like I was called to just let people know that they're not alone and there's light at the end of the tunnel. And so that was my inspiration.
Sounds very brave.
Yeah, I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
I was very scared to do the thing, but I did it.
Mm-hmm. That's courage, not allowing that fear to keep you, but to move through it is courageous. I love that.
Thank you.
Does your poetry reflect themes that also show up in your work with clients, such as healing, reflection, or self-awareness?
Yes, it comes up on a regular basis with clients, with people. And I think that's another reason why I felt so called because each one has like a topic that can really be talked about with anyone. If most people on my table, they're very comfortable with me at that point. So everything can come up. But yeah, I talk about just like one of my poems is, what is the name of it? Lyrical Awakening, maybe. But I'm very big on being intentional with the music that I listen to, the television that I watch, and I noticed that the frequencies and the lyrics can be programming very much. And there's a lot of programming in the world, but we ultimately create what is programming us. So we have that choice. And I think that's really important to know, because we can often get in a victim mentality and just kind of give up a little bit. Like, oh, all the food is poison and we're going to die anyway. And I just cannot, like, that mentality, I cannot, because as true as it is, there is so much poison and we all will die eventually. I still feel like the quality of our life is important, and we make choices. There's a lot of things that we do not have a choice in, but our health is ultimately in our hands for more than I think we understand. And I think it's important to know that what we feed ourselves in all of the ways really matters.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it truly does. It truly does. Writing can be such a personal process. What does that creative practice offer you that's different than the work that you do in your studio?
The work that I do in my studio is science and nature based. I have always followed the science, and that led me to nature. And so I combine that. And with my writing, it's more of a natural thing. It's not a practice thing. It's within. Um, and so I'm just able to be and just flow.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. When someone reads your poetry for the first time, what do you hope that they're going to feel or carry with them afterward?
I hope that they feel understood, and I hope that they carry some encouragement with them afterward.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Nice. Desiree, thank you so much for sharing your story, your perspective, and the intention behind your work. It's clear that you've created the Sugar Studio not to be just about skincare, but about helping people slow down and reconnect and care for themselves in a more meaningful way. From your holistic approach and lymphatic work that you do to the way that you create space for both men and women to feel supported, and even your expression through your poetry, your work is a beautiful reminder of how self-care and creativity can be deeply connected. For anybody who would like to learn more about Desiree Denae and her work and explore her services, I'll include all of her links in the show notes below. Thank you, Desiree. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
That is a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us in the Hive. We hope you're walking away inspired, energized, and ready to expand, evolve, and grow on your own journey. If this conversation moved you, sparked a new idea, or made you feel more connected, share it with a friend and help us keep the buzz alive. Conscious Michiana is a nonprofit powered by community, and your support helps us keep creating meaningful content, hosting events, and connecting people to the resources they need to thrive. Visit consciousmichiana.org/donate to contribute, because every drop of honey helps. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with us on social media. Until next time, be well, Michiana. The Michiana Hivecast, buzzing with wellness, connection, and conscious living in Michiana. Expand, evolve, grow.